Students, today we will discuss Viva on Planck's constant, determination, and in our next lecture we will study the work function also. Now this is the circuit diagram for cutoff voltage, retarding voltage it can also be called. In this a photocell is used, and in the internal circuit there is a ballistic galvanometer along with the resistance, and another components are shown in it. They are keys, voltage, voltmeter, and a rheostat. And we also know that what is a retarding voltage. Further, figure 109 shows the graph between voltage and the deflection. Voltage, being the independent quantity, is plotted along x-axis, and along y-axis corresponding deflection is plotted. Here only two color filters are used, green and blue, but in a lab we also use orange and red filters, and we have obtained these graphs from the observation we got from our operators. Now there are certain questions which in our first lecture of Viva will be discussed. And upon what factors does the energy of the photon depend? It's a very simple and basic Viva question. We know that E is equal to h nu, and E is directly proportional to nu also, where this nu is frequency. So greater the frequency, greater will be the energy, and vice versa. And further, as frequency and wavelength are reciprocal to each other, so greater the frequency, smaller will be the wavelength. Now second question is, can the phenomena of photoelectric emission occur in vacuum? Yes, it can occur. Now cutoff voltage, stopping potential, retarding potential, they are the same thing. And how can you define it? What do you understand by the cutoff voltage in this experiment, and the voltage for which the deflection, cutoff means stopped, for which the deflection current reduces to zero, is called cutoff voltage. We are familiar while we studied in our last semester Bose-Einstein statistics and Fermi-Dirac statistics. We came across the particles, bosons and fermions. Now photons which are used in this experiment are bosons. And why they are bosons? Because they obey Bose-Einstein statistics and they possess ordinary spin equal to unity. Is there any time lag between the beginning of irradiation and the starting of photoelectric emission? It's an abrupt phenomenon. The answer to this question is it's a spontaneous phenomena. And if there is a time lag, then it's not more than 3 into 10 raised to power minus 9 seconds. Can photoelectric emission occur in the innermost orbits? If the incident radiation is of shorter wavelength, the condition is shorter wavelength. That is, if photons of gamma rays or X-rays are used, we use photoelectrons from the inner orbits. Now how can we get photoelectrons from the inner orbits? With the condition that incident radiation is of shorter wavelength, for example, gamma radiation or X-rays. Now, why do we sometimes call Planck's constant as quantum of action, as E is equal to h nu is equal to h by t, or E is equal to or h is equal to E cross t. This nu is also in inverse relationship with this t. So instead of v, we have written t, and now the relation is E is equal to h over t, or h is equal to E t. Just t has gone to this side and has the dimensions of action, for example, erg second or joule second. Now, can this phenomena be satisfactorily explained by classical E by m theory of radiation? No, it's purely a quantum mechanical phenomena. Name some other experimental phenomena which remained unexplained by the EM theory, and that is Compton effect. And what is Compton effect? We have studied it in our FSC class, that when a photon strikes with an electron, then what happens? It is scattered. It deviates from its actual path at a certain angle. Now, if that photon possesses an energy h nu and it strikes an electron, then as in the case of the collision, it transfers some of its energy to the electron, and the scattered electron have a smaller energy. Why? Because the energy of the photon is, some of the energy of a photon is imparted to electron, and hence its energy will be lowered, and say instead of h nu, now it is h nu dash. Nu is greater, nu dash is smaller, and hence a lower frequency or higher frequency as and hence as a lower frequency or with a higher wavelength, as frequency and wavelength are reciprocal to each other, the photon will move in the scattered direction. The observed change in the frequency or wavelength of the scattered radiation is known as Compton effect. Now, in our next lecture, we will determine the work function for a metal, and for this we must know the cutting potential or the retarding potential of our specific filters. Thank you.